So today we'll be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts on this fantasy planet. In the last episode, we saw a couple of things happening, and well, before we get into this video, I am recording super late at night, which is why I have to keep my voice a little bit down, but let's go over a recap. We saw the continuation of the Great Civil War over here. This is a pretty major event in the world, and well, we saw the pushback by the blue team. We saw a lot more exploration being done over in Aeropesia as they connected basically almost up with the whole continent. As down here, the holy states, or one of the holy states, almost connected up with the purple team. However, we will be seeing more expansion and a few collapses over here today. Down here, we saw that the yellow team discovered 4 new countries in the south of Trissos, and we saw tensions between the parallelogram alliance and the pentagon alliance increase. But yeah, that's our recap, and without further ado, let's get straight into this episode. For our first event today, we are actually going to be starting down here in the south of Trissos, as we are going to be seeing some expansions. As we see that the green team is going to start to expand up by this lake, as they will encircle these tribes in here and conquer them all. And they will also start to move, around this lake and also out, as they want to conquer some more land. Um, well, one, because they were just discovered by a brand new power, which is pretty strong, and yeah, they could probably defeat these guys very easily. Along with this, we see that the blue country is going to do a little bit of expansion as well. However, they are not able to do as much, as they are very weak. But over here, we see that the green team will do more exploration and conquering around the coast, as they will get about this much land before they will uh stop their expansions. Up here, we see that the beige country is going to start their expansion and link up with the purple team. This is pretty good, as well, we'll see in a second why. As by using the new technology from their ally, or I guess I should mention that the yellow team and the beige team are allies. Uh, this is because, well, yeah, the beige team helped them discover all this land, and yeah, they're pretty much allies now. But anyway, the beige team is going to be invading the purple country, mainly because these guys are the strongest country down in the south. These guys were the first to originate of these three. They didn't conquer very much land because their leader was not very powerful, but now they are pretty driven by motivation, as they found their new ally, and with the militarist ideas from the yellow team, they are kind of gonna be put into place in their country. But we do see the purple team surrender, and now we can take a look at a peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see that the purple team will be fully annexed, and the beige country will expand a crap ton with the help of their new ally. But the green team over here, seeing or getting news that these guys just absolutely crushed the purple team, they are gonna decide that they kind of want to do that, as they will send forces across this lake into the blue team and invade into them very, very quickly, as these guys think that they should be the most powerful on the continent, and well, yeah, they just want a lot of land. Their invasion will go pretty well, as in the north they are absolutely crushing the blue team forces, mainly because, well, the blue team is the weakest country besides the purple team. The purple team was very weak. But the green team, they will capture the capital city. But once they get about here, a little bit of news is going to reach the capital city. As over here in these new conquered areas, a full-on civil war will break out. And yeah, I mean, these guys were not very stable, and their leaders are horrible. So this is why we see this happening. And with this, we see a ton of troops retreating from the blue team as they will recapture their capital city and continue to push up and recapture more territory. Whilst over here, the front line is just going absolutely horrible as the red team over here is, they're still horrible, or like they're very weak, but like compared to these other countries, they are actually pretty strong. Like over here, they are the second strongest of, or actually no, they're the third, right behind the green team. But that's not saying very much as these guys, yeah, they would just blow everybody out of the water. But seeing all of the success by the red team, we're gonna see a couple of other states wanting their freedom. Or should I say their independence, as we see this blue rebellion taking place right here, and this brown rebellion over here, as they will take complete control over the armies in the blue team, as they will now start to retreat hundreds, or not really hundreds, but they will start to retreat thousands of forces from the area as well. Yeah, they kind of want to regain some land over here. But over here in the south, we see that the blue team forces will start to move up around these exclaves. I just noticed that I accidentally put that little tiny dot there. But yeah, they will basically consolidate all of their forces in this one little area. Over here, we see that the brown team will completely cut off the capital regions from the entire country, as they will start to push up around this newly conquered lake. And well, we'll get back to that in a second, but they will in fact reach the capital city and, well, start to siege it. However, this is not the final rebellion, as in the north we see that a huge orange team rebellion will take place in these new conquered territories. And, well, let's just be honest, these three rebellions all hate each other. But the orange team will start an invasion, as with their new settlers from the original green team, they will start to invade into the old government, as the old government has basically just completely collapsed now. As with all of these rebellions, yeah, they're just not doing good. But the green team will make the good choice of surrendering after their capital city is captured, but they will surrender over to the orange team and the brown team. And now let's take a look at a peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see something like this happening, as the brown team will take over all of this region right here, and the rest of the factions will split up this area, including two different countries right here. Um, I do not know why this is a capital city, because this is actually a part of the red team over here. But then the blue team actually got a little sliver of land, however, they are still extremely weak. But now, staying in this continent, we come back up here as something pretty scary has happened. As border skirmishes have been happening all across the yellow team border, as we see notable ones up here by this major city, multiple along the coast of this city, um, specifically right in these three areas. We see multiple right over here occur on the gray team border, and then weirdly enough, one naval one actually occurs over by the blue team's border, which is not great. Additionally, now up here we see that multiple border skirmishes will happen all across the brown team and the orange team, as multiple major cities will be affected by these skirmishes. As well as up here, we see that a skirmish is taking place in two places right over here. And now that I'm realizing, um, I just realized that the green team is supplying the blue team with, or like giving them access to invade their own ally. Uh, let's fix that. This never happened. We're just gonna pretend that the green team never joined this alliance. And there. Um, and I guess that also means that we have to get rid of these skirmishes. But anyway, we actually see skirmishes occurring all along the gold team border as well. Yeah, tensions are rising very, very rapidly. Even over here, we see skirmishes happening over this island, and also many naval skirmishes taking place over here in this little sea, along with a bunch of them occurring across these two bordering countries. Crap. But we actually are seeing a lot of skirmishes taking place over here on this border, as these guys have been very unfriendly toward each other in the last couple of years, and yeah, there's just a lot of skirmishes happening over in this area. But now coming back over here, we see that the this gold country will actually be doing some expanding, and I have to get rid of these two colors. But the gold team will be expanding along this river once again, as they will finally meet up with the purple country, which finally connects, I think, the entire continent, well, country-wise. But yeah, these guys will expand along this river, and now they kind of have a new goal. Um, Conquer the whole river. Like they want an empire going from here all the way up this river. Uh, yeah, that's what they want. But down here we see that the red team will continue their colony, as it will stretch down the coast even more, and even a couple incursions go into the land area. Um, and now this place is probably the same size as their normal country. Oh, I spoke too soon. Because yeah, this part just broke away. But down here we see a breakaway state forming with this blue country. But down here we see a breakaway state forming with this blue country. The red team is not going to do anything about it. But yeah, just know there's a new country right in here. And there we go. But now we come back up here to the Great Civil War. Specifically over here to this blue country that has not done anything, and well, they're not involved in the Civil War. But we see that orange team forces will cross the border, um, which is unprovoked, or they, no warning, they just straight up invade. What the heck? Anyway, they just straight up invade into this country, and yeah, this thing basically just surrenders in a couple of hours. Or no, not hours. But why would they invade this country, you may ask? Because they will now start to liberate these sections of the Lime team over here, as their forces will go into this area and liberate parts of the Lime team, as this was their plan all along, to come over here and help the Lime team, just because they don't really like the dark blue team, but they will push back the blue team forces down here in the south. However, it's not going so good over here, as the dark blue team will start to push into these occupied territories now, as they will, I don't think they've even invaded into these guys yet, but now they will invade and capture this one major city in here. But now they will push back gray team forces greatly in the south, also start to push back the gold team forces as well, as they will reach right around back to the capital city, and using their forces up here in the north, and using forces through the green team, we see that another invasion is made, and this time they will actually capture the capital city of the gray team. Up here now, we see that the dark blue team spearhead is successful, as they will capture this major city and continue up the yellow team's border with the peach team, as well. Yeah, their main goal, just capture as much land as possible. And now they are starting to encircle some troops down here, as they will be completely pushed out of the blue team. And more invasions are made in, as we see another invasion right in here. Also, up here, we see that the dark blue team will push this little front out and make another invasion into the yellow team, as now they will capture this major city. And yeah, this is not going good, as it will capture all of the land on this side of the river almost. But another thing, the yellow team's capital is within sight from this river. It's very flat up here. But we see that the dark blue team will be able to see the capital city of the yellow team, which is not good if you are a fan of these guys. Additionally, the great general that I'm talking about that came, or that was over here, his forces, they are still pushing back these guys greatly, as down here we see a huge counteroffensive being made, as they will continue to push back uh, yellow team and brown team forces, as this is actually his army up here in the north. They have been able to do a ton of progress ever since he got promoted to an admiral. Yeah, I'm just gonna call him general. But now a even, or not even better, but a good general is going to come from this major city. Or he was just promoted to a general after many, many victories down here. But now he's going to devise a plan to encircle a bunch of yellow team forces right in here. And this plan is going to succeed. And from here, they are going to absolutely beat down on these guys and completely wipe them out. And the yellow team is not having a good day. Neither is the Parallelogram Alliance, as they thought that this was going to be an easy war because it's like a quadrillion fronts. But somehow the blue team is able to hold on, as the dark blue team will continue to push back gold team forces and even the brown team forces over here, as they will encircle this exclave again and completely capture it, along with a lot of land in this part of the country. But now this is where it is getting scary, as they now have a direct border with one of the Parallelogram Alliance members. I mean, these guys are Parallelogram Alliance too, but these guys are one of the founding members, and the second strongest country in the world now has another border with them again. But with this happening over here, we are going to see something absolutely horrible happen for the dark blue team, as we see peach team forces starting to move into the dark blue team territory. This is a complete surprise attack, as they will start to liberate this city over here from the blue team, as they see the blue team as a threat as well, as their troops will move down here and then start to move out and capture more areas. Now, I am going to color this front in the same color that these guys are, because these guys are technically supplying them. However, they do have their own front going over here by the beige country, as their forces will move out from this major city right here and capture this one not very far away. But up here, this is why this is so dangerous, as we see many troops be sent into the yellow team and encircle a ton of blue team forces, as they will start to be pushed back. And yeah, to put in perspective, this is probably like 25,000 soldiers, and this is absolutely horrible for the blue team, as they did not see this coming. And on top of this, yeah, yellow team forces are arriving down here, as they will start to push back and capture major cities, specifically this one. But don't worry, as the yellow team military is finally starting to get it together, as this general over here will start to lose, as his armies are kind of getting demoralized from the fact that a new front has opened up. And yeah, I can see why they're demoralized, as up here 25,000 men will surrender over to enemy hands, and that is absolutely horrible. And from here we see that the yellow team forces will start to push out the dark blue team forces to the point where over here this front line is no longer functioning. Additionally, all of the troops, or most of the troops from the beige team, have now arrived in this area, as they will completely capture this over here and almost completely cut the well, not completely because they do have this, but they almost cut off the dark blue team's main access to the sea, as they will capture another major city over here, and it's just going absolutely horrible, as now peach team forces are going to start to move in once again, as they are trying to take out the dark blue team and make sure that it never threatens them again. And with the help of pink team forces, we see that the exclave over here is going to be able to link up with the one that is struggling a little bit. And this is absolutely terrible for the blue team armies, as down here we see that a ton of forces are now cut off from the main country, and this is actually going to do a lot, as we see that the brown team forces will start to push back blue team troops, as they will try to hold their ground in one of the more important major cities, which is right here. But now the blue team has a new goal. Basically, just throw 1,000 or 100,000 troops right at this front line, and hopefully um, get out of this encirclement, as they will start to slam forces right into this front line, and they nearly make it. However, the general that was commanding this is an absolute lunatic, as he believes that if they get out here, they will be saved and they will win the war. However, he did not account for the fact that there are still thousands of forces on each side, as all of these troops will get encircled, and well, I mean, they do break through, but they immediately just try to escape. And this basically leaves the general and what little armies he has left down here all by themselves. Like, I would say there's probably like, and well, basically what I have here is the army sizes of the blue team. As we see, about 400,000 troops are right down here, or were right down here. But out of those 400,000, 109,000 forces were in this encirclement, and those guys just completely abandoned them. Or not really abandoned, they were ordered to do this. But yeah, the general's plan absolutely backfired. But yeah, with the general being completely outnumbered down here, he is going to make another decision, and this decision is to try the exact same thing and try to get these forces out of here. Not really his forces, they're going to try to get himself out because he is greedy. But he will order all of his troops to retreat back to well, the border, or like the encirclement. And what this is going to do, all of his troops are going to retreat back. But while this is happening, the forces of the Allies are going to start to overwhelm the South, as a bunch of troops will now start to swarm these guys. And now you might be wondering, why isn't the green team being invaded? Well, they never declared war on these guys, they just let the blue team forces go right through them, so that's not their problem. But in the purple team, we see purple team insurgents forming, as the purple team will arise once again, as they will recapture their capital city and start to move around the blue team occupied areas. However, the green team, they're still at war with these guys, so they're gonna start invading them once again. These guys are pretty strong because they have like quadruple the sea access than they do. So yeah, they're just gonna start to blitz them again. But in a last resort, the what are they called? The blue team is going to devise up a plan to absolutely slam forces into the this part right here, and they hope that this is going to work. However, it is not guaranteed. At this point, nothing is guaranteed, as your armies are basically completely shredded, and your last major city in this area is now under siege. So the general is going to have the plan go into action. And I'm just gonna have to go a little slower just to like show you what happens. But the before I do that, I actually need this color. But the troops, they're basically like 200,000 left of the 400,000. Most of them have died in these conquerings. But now the 200,000 are just going to try to slam right through this gap, as we are going to be seeing a ton of forces moving in right through here, as 200,000 forces will be just marching and defending both of these sides. This is not the whole 200,000 actually. There's actually a second group going out here, as they will also try to encircle some troops along the way, as they will do so. But now this is the complete 200,000. The general is leading right back here. However, for his sake, he is not going to be making it out of this battle alive, as these guys acknowledge that, and they are going to set up yet another encirclement of this area, this time making sure that this guy cannot escape. And yeah, they encircle his whole army. He is not scared though, as he is going to try to push through, as he will start to move up to right here. However, his armies have already made it through, and they are already being evacuated. However, while they're running out, the beige, grayish, whatever you want to call this country, they will encircle a huge number of forces. This is probably like 50,000. And from here, the general is right here in the center, and he is going to make the decision to fight on until he dies, in which he does. And yeah, this front line is completely lost for the blue team, as they will surrender over, or like these guys will surrender in the capital city. And slowly but surely, that momentum is failing from the dark blue team, as they have been experiencing a ton of defeats in this area. But that is going to do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started on a Fantasy Planet. But if you guys did like it, please make sure to like and subscribe. All the support is greatly appreciated. But please stay tuned in for more content, as a very, very big thing is going to happen in the coming episodes, and I do not want you guys to miss it. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.